Peace, peace, peace. This is Maury Yacob. This is I know this probably some of you all Sabbath, but this is after our Sabbath. But anyway, if this is still your Sabbath, happy Shabbat. Shalom to each one of you. Thank you for joining me. This is Maury Yacob. Shalom, shalom to brother Caesar Shaver. Happy Shabbat. Make sure as when you come into the building, you press that like button. I want to give out my respects to Young Noble, a member of the Outlaws. There's only a few of them. I think there's only a couple of them left now. They say that the brother was found with a gunshot to his head. They talking about it was self-inflicted. We have to be, we have to give out our respect. This brother right here came in later. Tupac handpicked him to bring him in. And I think Young Fatal had left. And he took Young Fatal's spot. And he been riding ever since to keep Tupac's name alive. When the other outlaws kind of just fell apart, the ones that were still living. So we want to give our respect before we get it started. We want to give our respect to this brother, Young Noble. The brother really, 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 if you really stood on Tupac and Outlaws and you was a fan of Tupac and you knew the Outlaws, you would know about Young Noble. A very, very, very known, well, he wasn't relevant to these days, but he put out music and he was moving independent. And the brother really started catching fire. That song Tupac is Back with Rick Ross. Tupac is Back. That was Young Noble and them. He was keeping Tupac name alive, and he started to really bring the heat down, but not just pretty much in the independent. The industry wise, he was doing it independent, and that was the real damage. But the thing is, shalom, shalom to Sister Latoya G. Happy Shabbat. Well, if it's still your Shabbat, then happy Shabbat. Make sure as when you come into the building, you press the like button. But Young Noble was a very, very integral part when Hussein Fatal had left. He was very integral. The brother was very instrumental of what I knew of keeping Tupac name alive. You may not know of Young Noble, but Young Noble was very, 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 very there. But you could tell that the death of Tupac was still haunting him. And if y'all didn't, if you don't know about this brother, go back to Vlad TV, his last interview to Vlad. You can still see that the brother was really still struck because he joined Outlaws at 18 years of age. And them brothers blew up in New Jersey. That's during the time that the Lords of Underground, when they was in North Carolina, we was in North Carolina, and the Outlaws blew up in New Jersey. And that's when you had Leah and all them other people that was a part of all this big circle. And the brother was like on the outside, but inside until Tupac tapped him. So I'm gonna play something real quick for this brother. Fair use, fair use. This is not my material. This is his last freestyle that he had did. They also have his last points of what he made before they found him with a so-called self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. This brother was doing a very good service to Tupac for Tupac. So let me give you fair use, shalom. So let me go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, dirt poor growing up. I never had my own room. My mama cooking that work up. She burnt up all the spoons, graduated from the block. I ain't never finished school. No, it wasn't cool. That's why I choose. Give them jewels, all the lessons that I learned. Play the game by the rules. Never hustle where you live. Never argue with a fool. If you depend on them to feed you, you gave them power to starve you. All I did was show love and they hated me something awful. Be careful. Cut my circle down to a handful. Smiling in your face and they heart. Can't stand you, two-faced it. My heart got broke. Two places, feeling like Nipsey, tipsy. Bumping blue laces. Wanna bait me with old beef and see me with new cases. Shit ain't been the same since they killed my nigga in Vegas. Motivated by the pain. Motivated by the haters. I'm still spitting that shit. 25 years later, never signed to a major. Stayed independent. These ain't just raps, little nigga. I really lived it, calm. Don't be alarmed. I'm a time bomb ticking. Young living legend. Pen game vicious. Outlaw records. Don't think for a second I won't put this mic down and pick up. It's Mac 11, the spirit of Machiavelli. Psych, fatal, and felony. It's outlaw shit. I'm precisely the epitome. Carried the torch high. Did it all in a memory. You gotta say a word. Feel it in your energy. Hate me or you love me. Don't matter long as you mention me. Streets real slippery. Watch where you walking. There's no more talking, all bite, no barking. Everybody love you once you laying in the coffin. When you alive and shining, you most likely a target. Leave your ass leaking like a faucet. You cross me. All family, no friends. The game cost me. Paid the price of sweet revenge. How much it cost me. Success tastes sweeter. Bag full of cheaper. Carhartt suit. 10 boots and a beeper. This 9mm can make me the Grim Reaper. You ain't even cracked the code and get deeper. You don't know how much crack I sold as a youngin'. Never known for rapping, I was known for hustling. Never known for ratting, I was known for thugging. All these niggas do is blog, they ain't known for nothing but running they dick suckers, gossiping like broads. It's all fun and games to somebody in the morgue. It was all your fault. Don't poke a lion, awake a sleeping giant. Get greeted with the iron. We gon' leave him where we find him. Sometime you gotta remind him. Outlaw shit is forever. It'll be timeless. Yeah.
So we gonna stop it right there. That's Young Noble from the Outlaws. Give credit to the brother. Man, the brother was very integral on, in the upon the death of Tupac. So we want to give the brother his credit. He came back when things didn't mount up to what it was, and he brought back some of the other members to help him keep the name of Outlaws and Tupac alive, and he did his thing. But sometimes when people just want to just leave it alone, they just walk away and leave it alone. But Young Noble, he was a trooper. He kept that thing moving, but he didn't get into the industry like that. He stayed independent, and I think that was the fair part. But sometimes I think when you mingle business in the wrong areas and you still move with the wrong people around you, blah blah blah. That's why when you become independent, you have to stay independent. You have to be independent. You have to move independent, and that means you have to rearrange your whole circle. So the brother has passed, so we want to give rest of peace to that brother. Just give the rest in peace to that brother. He was back, in my era, and he kept the things moving in my era. And the thing is, a lot of people, they on that drill music. The brother came back with more positive music, and music that really was positive, that make you think, but it didn't make traction because it wasn't what the industry was looking for. But when you have a moment and a goal, you just have to go on with it, regardless of who sits with it, who believes in it, and who rock with it. You have to make sure you stand on it, because if that's a gift that the creator gave you, you have to move that gift, regardless of who accepted it and who don't. The industry is not going to accept positive stuff, not real positive stuff that's going to really challenge the industry, because the industry is the devil's tool that keeps us in the position that we're in today. So we have to make sure that we position ourselves when we get a second opportunity to do the right thing. And I give kudos to the brother. You know, he put out real positive music, and he was pointing people um, to the Creator in the way that he could have done it. A lot of times, we have to respect how people move, because a lot of people don't move like me or you. You have to respect how they move as long as they're pointing back to the Creator. So I give credence to the brother. He was getting to the point of learning about the Creator, and all praise to the brother. But the Creator saw fit to move the brother, so the brother's gone. Regardless, I don't know what took place. People now bringing out conspiracies, but I'm not going to dabble into that. But let's move forward into the next point of this podcast. We're going to talk about the 4th of July. A lot of people, I'm just going to give a couple of points, and we're going to get into the curse. But the points might get a little stretched, so just be ready. A lot of people look at the 4th of July and say, oh, that's when we were slaves. We were slaves. And we were set free from slavery. Shalom, shalom to Brother Trey and Zipporah and Zayden. Make sure when you come into the building, press that like button and the share button as well, if you can share it with family and friends. A lot of people, they think that the 4th of July was about slavery and all this and all that. But the 4th of July was really about you. You. It was really about you, family. All right? It wasn't about anything else. It was about you. The first point is I want to bring out, I'm not going to go into it. I do it later on. Benjamin Banneker and Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin stole the identity of Benjamin Banneker. Okay? So I want to kind of put that there. I know I'm putting some stuff out, and you say, well, prove it. I'm not here to prove that not that today. Okay? Got a lot of information. I don't want to go sideways to come back in the middle. I don't want to do that. I just want you to write that down. You do your own work. Benjamin Franklin stole the identity of Benjamin Banneker. Okay? I want you to write that down and do your own work. That's your homework. All right? That's your homework, family. All right? That's just filling out your slip for tonight. Powerball. Number 1 for the 4th of July. Tidishan, Chief Tidishan. Chief Tidishan was the main chief and 12 other chiefs who created the Continental Congress in 1758. And I know what they say, the Continental Congress was created in 1760 something. No, it was created in 1758. The Continental Congress was created in 1758. And Chief Tidishan was one of the ones who created it. Tidishan is Titishan. Tidishan. Okay? That's number 1. Excuse me, that's number 1. Number 2. In 1758, that's when they started bringing the destruction to Tartaria. That's when they started hiding the ancient world in 1758. Number 3, the War of 1812 was about destroying the ancient empire, which some of you may call Atlantis. I'm going to put that there and let that sink. I'm going to put that there and let that soak in your membrane. The War of 1812 was about destroying the ancient empire, which some of you may call Atlantis. Okay? Also, the Chicago World's Fair was about also destroying the ancient empire. Chicago World Fair was also about destroying the ancient empire and evidence of ancient Amaru. Amaru is Amaru. That's what a lot of these wars was about. That was taking place over here and some parts of Africa. Okay? They was destroying the ancient evidence of the empire. Okay? I know a lot of us, we like, well, yeah. Number 5, Charles Thompson. Charles Thompson. That's his name. Charles Thompson was appointed to the position he held in the U.S. jurisdiction. Charles Thompson. Look him up. Or in the Continental Congress. Charles Thompson. Look him up. He was a pivotal role. He had a pivotal role, family. He had a pivotal role. Into what took place. Charles Thompson. Number 6. Question: who appointed America's first officer of government? Who? Who was that? That was Charles Thompson. I just told y'all he was the first one to be appointed. And who appointed him? Charles Thompson was appointed by Chief Tennyson. He was appointed by Chief Tennyson, who are the She people. SHI, the She people, or whom you call the Olmecs. And who they mistakenly call the Powhatans. And who they mistakenly call today the Delaware tribes or the Delaware Indians. Those are part of the Olmecs. The Powhatan. They're not even called the Powhatan. I'm going to get into that in a second. But that's the she people, S-H-I, she, or X-I, she people. And at that time where Charles Thompson was, though, that part of the she people were in Virginia. Okay? It was in Virginia. So we get into the 4th of July. Because you can't get into the 4th of July unless you know and understand something about the Continental Congress. Okay? So the first officer of the federal government was appointed by a so-called black person. It's what you got to understand. This is what your history books ain't going to tell you. The first officer of the federal government was appointed by a so-called black person who was what? Indigenous, and who allowed them jurisdiction here on these shores. The indigenous people appointed a European and gave them jurisdiction to be here. See, this thing that the people came here and all of a sudden the rock and roll happened and all, no. They were allowed to come. It wasn't that these lands just was all of a sudden open and, oh, sure, we just see land and everybody just raced to the land. But no. People were here. People were here. And when those folks came, they were given jurisdiction by the Aboriginals that were here of how far they can roam on the land, the territories that they're supposed to be in. They weren't just going all over the place. They were, these people were, these people were boxed in. They couldn't just go all over the place, run all over the place, and have willy-nilly at whatever they want to do. That's not how that went. But I know how the story we were told say how it went, but that story of what we was told was a lie. Those people they were given a jurisdiction that they can roam in. They couldn't just roam all over the place. If they went out those jurisdictions, they were put in prison. They were put in Aboriginal jails. They were put in Aboriginal jails. Number 8. Tinishan was of the lineage of Teeth Tammany. Now, let me do this right here real quick. I want you to Google this for yourself. Chief Tammany standing on a turtle. Chief Tammany standing on a turtle. Let me pull up the picture. You can see right here it says Chief Tammany, also known as Chief Tammany. Tammany Saint Tammany or King Tammany was the chief of chiefs and the chief of the turtle clan of what they call the Lenape. That is Father from the Truth. But the Lenape tries to steal this. But let's just read what it is. the Lenape Nation in the Delaware Valley. He signed the founding peace treaty with William Penn. Okay? Chief Tammany. Chief Tammany. Look him up. Google him. Chief Tammany standing on a turtle. His statue still in downtown Philadelphia. Okay? There's a statue right here. That's the statue right there. That's the statue right there. I just want y'all to see that. Chief Tammany. Want to bring that to you. Let me stop sharing. You can go and Google that yourself. Sister Latoya said people think they was just walking around doing whatever, wild, wild west style. You're right. That's and I know that's what a lot of people think. But there were rules here. There was a government here. And I don't know why we think that these people just came here and just was doing whatever. No, it was a government here. There was rules here. There were different nations of people here in the Americas. They had a system here. They had a trade system going back and forth. From over here to over there. Back from over there to over here. It was a literal government here. And these people had to get permission just to come on shores. Okay? Chief Tammany Tidishon was the lineage of Chief Tammany, who I just showed you. You know, you can type in Chief Tammany standing on a turtle, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. That is the chief that Chief Tidishon, who we're going to talk about in a second, who appointed Charles Thompson to this unelectable power position. Number 9, Chief Tammany met with William Penn in 1683. Y'all know we got writings of William Penn. How did he know about this and that? Because he met with these people. He met with these people. He met with the chiefs. He met with these tribes. And he met with William Penn to form Philadelphia, which is known as this nation's capital. Philadelphia is the nation's capital, not Washington. Philadelphia is the nation's capital, not Washington, D.C. They moved the nation's capital from Philadelphia to Washington. You can Google that. You'll see it. He met with Chief Tammany. William Penn met with Chief Tammany to form Philadelphia, which is known as the nation's capital, where the Declaration and the Constitution were written. The Declaration and the Constitution was not written in Washington, D.C. It was written in Philadelphia. But they don't tell you that. They don't teach you that. I mean, maybe they do. I never heard it in school. It was they wrote the Declaration and the Constitution in Philadelphia. Now type in Art Museum, downtown Philadelphia. Type that in, Google that. Just Google that real quick. Art Museum, downtown Philadelphia. And what you're going to see the actual White House before they moved it. You're going to literally see the White House before they moved it. Art Museum, downtown Philadelphia. Type that in real quick. Art Museum, downtown Philadelphia. You will literally see the White House, the Capitol, the actual White House. That's the literal White House. Let me bring it up. Let me show y'all those who is not seeing what I'm showing you. You should see this right here. Go to images, and this is what you should see right here. The Art Museum, downtown Philadelphia. You should see the Art Museum, downtown Philadelphia. That's what you should see right here, family. Let me blow it up. That's the first Capitol White House right here, where the Continental Congress was, right there. Not in Washington, D.C., family. It was downtown Philadelphia. All right. Let me stop sharing. Let me keep moving. All right. Number 9. Chief Tamerlan met with William Penn in 1863 to form Philadelphia. We already met that. We already read that. Now, Franklin Square, Washington Square, Rittenhouse Square, and Logan Square, that was the jurisdiction for the Europeans. Right there, bam. They couldn't go outside that square, those blocks. That was one of the colonies in Philadelphia. Washington Square, Rittenhouse Square, Logan Square, and Franklin Square was the jurisdiction. That was the jurisdiction, which was 4-block area, which was designated to them. That's why I told you they couldn't just go all over the place, family. They couldn't go all over the place. And like I say, Chief Tennyson, which was Chief Tennyson's grandson, that was the grandson of Chief Tammany. He appointed Charles Thompson to be secretary of the Continental Congress. So now we get more into Charles Thompson's role. He was the secretary. That was not an appointed position. I mean, it was an appointed position, but it was not an elected position where somebody could just throw him out. No. He was appointed by a chief. And there was a reason why they put him there. But he had a jurisdiction he had to move in. He wasn't able to move all over the place. No. They had jurisdiction that they could have moved in. Okay? Charles Thompson starts a group called the Sons of Saints. The Sons of Saints. The Sons of the Saints of Tammany. Charles Thompson started a group called the Sons of the Saints Tammany, also known as the Sons of Liberty. Google it, look it up. You got to believe, you can Google it, look it up. Okay? These were the ones who worked with the Aboriginals on this land to form their governmental society. The Aboriginals already had their government, but the Sons of Liberty came and sat with the Aboriginal people to get them to help them form their government within their jurisdiction. Now that's going to play a big point. That's going to play a big role. Okay? That's going to play a big role as to what's coming. They went to the Aboriginals to ask the Aboriginals to help them form their government within their jurisdiction that they were given by the Aboriginals to dwell in. Because they just didn't allow these folks to come over here to set up a government. That's a lie. These folks had to get permission to do everything that they're doing. Number 11. The Powhatan. You hear the people, you hear one of the tribes called the Powhatans. It's in the hieroglyphs of the 4 cardinals. The Powhatan stands for the 4 cardinals points of the year. Summer, fall, winter, spring. Powhatan. Okay? That's not the name of a tribe. That's the name of a ceremonial function that they were doing. So when the people came here, they saw the actual she people into their Powhatan ceremony, which became known as the powwow. That's where you get the powwow from. It comes from Powhatan, which represents the 4 seasons. Let's keep riding. Let's keep cooking. Powhatan means the 4 stones. So when the settlers came, they seen the tribes who was connected to the tribes in Philadelphia and in South America and in Texas practicing their ceremonial events was called the Powhatan. And that's how they end up taking on the name, because the people who were not from here called them their ceremonial name. See how that work? See how that work? I just want to bring that to you. They were being called by the ceremony that they were keeping. Powhatan. This is how you get the powwow. When you got these reservations, people, they fake anyhow, but they talk about they doing powwows. That ain't the real powwow. Because they're celebrating the winter solstice, the summer solstice, the fall and the spring equinox. They're celebrating that. You see? The four corners. Uh-oh. They're celebrating the four corners. See how that work? Columbus, when he came, called the ones in South America Mayans. But they weren't the Mayans. They were the sheep people. That was just another branch of them. See how that work? They are the sheep people. X-I or C-H-I, however you choose to pronounce it and spell it. But they are the sheep people. Number 12. If the Powhatans showed up in the glyphs in Mexico, hieroglyphs system, how did they get to Virginia? If they were in the Mexico hieroglyphs, how did they get to Virginia? Are we talking about a migration of a people? Are we talking about a migration of a people? Because that's who gave these folks their jurisdiction here. Okay? Number 13, John Ross. Y'all know the one who's supposed to have married Pocahontas? John Ross letter wrote in his memoir of meeting Chief Powhatan. He wrote in his memoir that he met Chief Powhatan, Pocahontas' father, and also mentioned Chief Powhatan's army in his memoir, his platoon, etc., however you choose to pronounce it, being 200 niggers. That's it. He said he saw Chief Powhatan's army. Of niggers. Dark as the devil. That's in the memoir. That's in John Ross' memoir. So that lets you know that the sheep people were Negroes. So you mean to tell me Negroes were running America, South America, Mexico? The sheep people. They were running it. They had a government over this trade system. Number 14, in 1758, when tribute was paid to 13 chiefs, it was paid in money to Mexico City. It didn't go to no 13 colonies. It didn't go to no Britain. It went to Mexico City, which were the Olmecs, or the sheep people. Levinta, Levinta, Levinta people. It was not paid to the colonies nor Britain. It was paid to the sheep people. Powhatans, or the sheep people, get invaded by who? British. The Britons invade them. And there was a general whose name was Delaware, or who you call Delaware. It's really called Delaware. When he conquered them, he tried to impose his name on them. That's how they get the name Delaware Indians. They ain't not no Delaware Indians. That is a British man's name, Delaware. And he tried to impose his name upon the people. Okay? Chief Powhatan and Chief Tammany was running things in the north. The Emperor Brim, B-R-I-M, Brim, was running things in the what? South, a Lower Creek ruler. He was a Lower Creek ruler. He was running things in the South. Chief Tennyson, Chief Tammany's grandson. All these folks I call out were black, so-called black, with locks. According to pictures, they have locks. It's on a Mexico mural. You go pull it up. These folks had locks. The Mayans were black folks with locks. Okay? Number 15. The foreigners were told that they could not pass the Appalachian Mountains. They could not go past that. And like I told you earlier, the ones that did pass the mountains, they were trespassing, and they were put in Aboriginal jails. Look up the Grand Council Fire of the Constitutional Congress. The Grand Fire, the Grand Council Fire of the Continental Congress. Let me pull it up for you right now. But you can pull it up for yourself as well. The Grand Council Fire of the Continental Congress. Sister Latoya put up Genesis 9:19. These are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth compassed. Overspread. These are the original indigenous people, and yes, these are Negroid people. Don't let them fool you. So, Continental Grand Council Fire of the Continental Congress. Pull that up, family. Grand Council Fire of the Continental Congress. Grand Council Fire of the Continental Congress. See, there's always paper trail. There's always paper trail. There's always paper trail, family. There's always paper trail. I'm going to pull up this book, A New Chapter, Images of Native American in the writing of Franklin Jefferson and Payne. I'm gonna pull this up. I'm just gonna read like two little points of this. It says the 5 nations of central New York instituted a form of democratic representative government before the coming of the white man. So if the white man, before the white man got here, family, who was running this continent, according to this chapter? That originated the Confederation of the 13 Colonies, the League of the Iroquois, which was much in the mind of the colonial statesman Franklin in particular, and others who met the Romans of the New World. See, so they're telling you, family, that there were, before the white man was here, Negroes was running the continent. You see that? You was running this country. You was running this hemisphere before the white man got here. As the American colonists moved towards independence, the use of American Indian imagery became more widespread among the colonialists. In December of 1775, John Hancock, we're going to talk about him in a minute, because John Hancock and Charles Thompson were the 2 important figures, and they did something, and that's what caused the bull. Now, let's keep rolling. Hancock had welcomed a Delaware chief to this council fire kindled for all the United Colonies, and the members of the Continental Congress had heard Captain White Eyes. Delaware referred to the Continental Congress as the Grand Council fire. In his reply, on New Year's Day, 1776, a Massachusetts delegate to the Continental Congress, Robert Treat Payne, wrote a letter to a constitute referring to the Continental Congress as a Grand Council fire at where? Washington, D.C. No, Philadelphia. Everything was happening in Philadelphia, not Washington. See how that go? Brother Shava say the Grand Council fire was a term used to refer to the Continental Congress in its interaction with Native Americans tribes. Yes, well, yes, they were interacting with, yes, the foreigners were interacting with the Native American tribes, correct. And he said it is not a distinct event or council separated from the Continental Congress itself. Correct. It was telling you that they had to deal with the nigger. The foreigners had to deal with people that look like me and you. This was a Negro continent. But they'll tell you, no, see, they brought slaves here. I'm going to talk about them slaves in a second. So let's keep on. Let's keep cooking, family. Let's keep cooking. Then I'm going to go ahead on and try to get into the curse. Okay? Number 16. The red, white, and blue. That was part of Mexico colors. Not these ones that you see walking around with the stringy hairs. And no. They ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Mexico was being controlled by the She people, the Olmecs. That was their color. And the Europeans stole the concept of the flag. The red, white, and blue don't belong to them. That's you. Everything the European got came from you. They stole it. And now they encrypt it with Masonic symbols. See, they always take something from you and demonetize it, demonize it. Example, let's look up the Confederate flag. Y'all pull up the Confederate flag. I'm going to show you something real quick. Don't block my mic now, YouTube or stream, y'all. Go on somewhere and sit down. Eat your ribs. Go on somewhere and eat your ribs. The Confederate flag. How many points you see on the flag? You got the red, white, and blue. How many points you see? Let's count them out. Let me blow it up. Let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's your flag. That flag belongs to America. It's 4 points, family. Red, white, and blue. 4 points. Summer, spring, fall, winter. They put it in your face. They put it right in your face. They tell you they came here and they took your stuff. It's like a person taking your bike and riding around with it and doing what? Ain't nothing you can do about it. They took your stuff, family. The 4 seasons. 17. The 13 stars represents the 13 jurisdictions. The 13 stars represents the 13 jurisdictions that did what? They gave Charles Thompson and other Europeans the ability to expatriate themselves from Great Britain. That's what they did. They gave them the power to expatriate themselves from Great Britain. John Hancock and Charles Thompson end up getting Aboriginal names. And then they went through the Aboriginal rituals to become a part of the 13 colonies, to expatriate themselves away from Britain. Like I say, they received indigenous names and became citizens of the 13 jurisdictions. And from that declaration of the independence, the original document has now been lost. You can't find it. That's why they tell you the original document is gone. I wonder how. Why? Where did it go? You allowed them to become citizens. They expatriated themselves away from their own land. And now you appointed them in positions. And now the one who was appointed, who was the secretary, can't find the documents, the original documents. You can't find it. Because on July the 2nd, 1776, only 2 names could have went on the document, and that was Charles Thompson and that was your other boy, John Hancock. Those were the 2 names that went on the document. So when you couldn't find the original documents, now what's happening? Now you got a war. And what kind of war you have going on? War of genocide. And denaturalizing you from your land. And from out of your colonies. The land that you owned, they denaturalizing you away from it. Because remember, they were only given so many blocks. How now they are all over the place. Now you come from Africa. You see how that's working? Where's the original document? See? So now you got a genocide going on, and now you got denaturalizing you away from you. You're no longer you no more. And now the wars are taking place. It wasn't slavery, it was wars. And the war was the genocide that was taking place for taking you off your land. You're no longer controlling this. You no longer have rights over this. The documents were signed on the 2nd of July, not the 4th. So they're using your government against you. The government that you're supposed to be under, they're using that against you for their pleasures. But the first thing we say, oh, see, we came on slave ships. Your people was toppled. And lost their jurisdiction and going through genocide. That's what's happening on this land. To the indigenous people. Okay? Number 18. I'm about done on this part. The circle of 13 of the red and white stars, which represents 3 houses of masonry. Okay? Apprentice, fellow craft, and master masons. Apprentice, fellow craft, and master masons. To be a master mason, you had to what? Be initiated into the 13. That's why on the back of your dollar bill, you see it right here. You have what? 13 steps of a pyramid. 13 arrows. And 13 of an olive branch. But the 13 steps of a pyramid, what is that? Family, if you pull up the White House right now, the White House sits on top of a mound. I'm gonna let that sit. I'm gonna let that sit and sink on you right there. The White House today, that you know as the White House, is sitting on top of a mound. Give me a second. I'm gonna let that sink for you. Because a lot of this stuff happened after the mudslides in America. They built on top of a lot of stuff that was damaged and destroyed by the mudslides that took place in America. They don't tell you that history, though. A lot of stuff is buried under the mud. They don't give you that history, though, family. The White House sits on top of a mound. You could do your research on that. Everything I'm throwing out, you could do your research and you'll find out what I'm saying is true. About the 13, you could go to the movie National Treasure and Hancock. They spilled the beans in that about the 13. About the Negroes being, indigenous to America. They spilled the beans in that. They give you the truth. And the people look like you. Control the land. So now you no longer exist in the jurisdiction. You no longer exist in those jurisdictions. Why? Why was the 4th of July chosen when the documents were signed on the 2nd? You see? Our people left a paper trail. There's paper trail. It's history. The problem is a lot of us don't look for that history. We just go along with what people tell us. We just go along with what people tell us, and we don't look at the things of what people is saying. So you had mudslides in America. You had mudslides all over America. One thing about our history is written in the heavens. That's why the Creator told Abraham to look up and count the stars. Our history is written in the heavens. That's why a lot of our stuff that we was talking about, books and all, we didn't have that stuff. Our history was written in the heavens. You just got to know how to read the heavens. Not know, your star gonna move this. No. It's more intricate than that. That's why the history of us as a people will never be lost, because it's written right there in the heavens. You just have to know how to read it. The problem is we don't know how to read it. Sister Latoya said Reconstruction was straight demon time from them. They tried to destroy all evidence of the true indigenous, and they're doing it again by gentrifying our neighborhoods. That is true. That is true. They have to get rid of the ones that they know is going to be anchored. Because why? They need to get all evidence out of the way. This is the problem. They need all evidence out of the way. That's why they tries to get you to yield to these false gods. They try to get you to bend your neck, and they want you to wait to go to heaven. So a lot of our older people have died listening to that foolishness and gave up on the history of themselves and left the ones behind them vulnerable. And that's what took place. And that's the reason why they are taking the advantage now. It's because a lot of us don't know the history. That's why it's important. And I always say on this channel, it's important for you to do your genealogy. It's important. Our history literally comes from the heavens and not no supernatural history. It's right there in the heavens. That's why you have eclipse. You have the star movements. You have certain things that happens with the sun and the moon. But you got to keep up with it. That's your book. That's the reason why a lot of our history hasn't yet been lost. Because the Creator already know you're careless when it's here, but some of the things he gonna keep there, right there before your whole face. You can't touch that. Until we reclaim heterosexuality and the family, until we reclaim heterosexuality and the family, we will continue to lose. We shouldn't be upholding homosexuality, lesbianism, gays. We shouldn't be upholding none of that. That's what's destroying us as a family. The family and heterosexual is under attack by these people. They're doing everything they can to destroy you. But we don't care. So let's keep going. We got parents scared of children, scared to teach their children, scared to, to stand up to their children. That's what we got. Something that came from you scared of. Something that came from you are scared of it. That's pathetic. But let's keep going. That's a side note. The 1758 treaty, you can look that up. 1758 treaty was put in the West because the Europeans were supposed to have stayed in their colonies. That's what the 1758 treaty was about. The Europeans wasn't staying in their positions where they was told. They weren't staying in their positions. 1758 treaty. You can pull it up. Look at that. Look it up for yourself. The currency of Rhea, of Mesoamerica, Rhea, the currency of Rhea of Mesoamerica was controlled by the emperors of the Islamic Empire who was working with the Aboriginals over here. The Europeans destroyed both economic systems. Because the Islamic Empire was in Africa. And they were back and forth trade from Africa to here. And the Europeans destroyed both. So the slaves who were writing Arabic, because a lot of the slaves that you saw in these stories, they wrote Arabic. They wrote in some kind of Arabic form. Those were the Fulani people, who the oil empire sold them to the British, Portuguese, and the Dutch. Those were your slaves. Because that empire was the light to Africa before it was destroyed. That's why the slaves wrote in Arabic. But they try to make them look like they were you. No, those were Muslims. And the treaties that you saw that was going across, that wasn't no Moors. Those were the Islamic people allowing the Europeans to trade in the Mediterranean and across the Pacifics. Because you got to remember, the Americans, that was to protect the Muslims in the new American government forming. Because remember, the Aboriginals is no longer in control. The Europeans are now coming in control. See how that working? So now the Muslims are now trying to protect themselves in trade. All this is about trade. Controlling the trade. And the last point, the wars of 1700s was about you. Civil War, Seminole Wars, Trails of Tears, etc. was about your identity, your political rights, who you are and were. Is the very unsolved problem in America today. You're the only group of people that does not sit around the United Nations table. You. That's the problem today in the Americas. It's dealing with who? Your identity, your political rights, who you were and still are. It's the unresolved problem that sits in America today because they put their kingdom on top of you. Brother Shava said that there's a church in this area that has Hebrew writing from runaway slaves from the Underground Railroad in the walls. Right. And I had challenged that, and I didn't see that was Hebrew. I saw that was Arabic. But I know you're talking about First African Baptist Church right there downtown. I had challenged that one time before, and I said I didn't see that as being actual Hebrew or Phoenician Hebrew. I saw that as actually Aramaic. But I got a lot of flowback from that. But I don't think they never proved their point that was Hebrew. But I don't know. But I know you're talking about First African Baptist Church right there on downtown Savannah. Yeah, that was downtown Savannah. Even the ones that the ones that do the tour and all that, they didn't even know what writing was. They just say it was Hebrew. But you put that in your back pocket. You know, I kind of had talked with them, and they say that they think that was Hebrew, but that's for their tourism, their economics, and etc. Whatever. But the Arab, they brought the Fulani people. That was the black folks. That was one of the black folks that they brought here. But the wars that was being happened here was the wars of your political and your identity stance here, because you lost your jurisdiction to foreigners. And now they are ignoring you and they call you black. You see how that work? So July the 4th, 1776 has nothing to do with you. It's really July the 2nd. They lost your documents that put them in the square miles of a jurisdiction. And since the papers lost, they are not held to that, bound to those jurisdictions. They're not held to that. But you, at the same time, you lost the very nature of the things of you. You see? So we have to be mindful of these histories of the things that we're celebrating when we don't know the real history behind these things. You know, these wars that they've been fighting was fighting over your identity and your politics. It's not something that they're fighting because the British fighting the American. Who do you think the American were? You. The British was fighting the British were called the Brutons. They were fighting you over your jurisdiction. Not so much of this and that. You lost. You're no longer in control of the areas you are in. They are. And so when you celebrate on July the 4th, you're celebrating them taking over your jurisdictions, them losing your political identity. You see? They're not calling you African American and black for no reason. All this is a part of 1776, July the 4th. You come from Africa. All this stuff connects, fam. They got to get you where it's that you don't understand the jurisdictions that they were in, they were subject to you. Now you are subject to them. Okay? Now, let's turn the page. Any other questions on that? Let me know. And I'll go back in and I'll go back in and I'll be glad to what you call it? Bring out some more points. But I just gave you some bullet points for you to go and do your research. Understand before you celebrate. Understand. Okay? Understand. So now, let's get into some of these curses, because some of these curses go right along with July the 4th. You know? Some of you been just partying, dancing to the fever. You've been dancing, family, having a good time. Do your thing. But let's get into Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Because we've been creating our own downfall. I was asked a question: how do we Old Testament believers look at how things is going to reverse itself back? The Bible says he declared the end from the beginning. So if judgment came to put us in this position, judgment going to come to bring us out of this position. You see? Moses never discussed with Israel about somebody coming from the sky. He never did. I haven't read it. Moses never discussed anything coming from the sky to save you. Because what put you in this position wasn't anything from the sky. It was you. The same way these people when these people came here, they put them in a jurisdiction and they put these people in these power plays. They made covenants with these people, and these people flipped the whole government back on top of their heads. And now, look at us. You made a covenant with the devil. You see how that works? So I broke down Deuteronomy 28:15. The word curse was talking about you putting the pen inside somebody's hand to write for you, and you allowing them to open their mouth against you. And it's not going to be nothing pleasant. It's going to be something derogatory. These people is not going to do things to help you. They're going to do things to destroy you. And we keep putting our power in these people's hands. So let's pick up on Deuteronomy 28:16. 15 already said the word curse means you are giving them the opportunity to write or to speak on your behalf. Okay? So verse 16 says, Deuteronomy 28:16, curse shall thou be in the city, and curse shall thou be in the field. Now, if I look at the word curse, that word curse still means you're giving them the power to speak and write on your behalf. You're going to be cursed in Jerusalem. Or you're going to be cursed in your territories, what the Creator has given you for land. Okay? See, we just talk about you lost your 13 jurisdictions. You lost those. You're no longer in control of your territories as aboriginals. So you're going to be cursed in your land. Now, here it was talking about the land that you were going to inherit. But what about the city that you stay in right now? Are you cursed? Do you have control over that? Who doing the bidding? Even if it's all Democrats or all black folks in there, who's doing the bidding for you? Who's doing your bidding? Are you getting things done in your community from your politicians? Why are the laws favoring? Why are the laws not favoring you in your community? Why? Why they not? Because you're cursed. You have to leave where your people were and go live among foreigners to say I'm living good. You can't live in a black community and say you could be doing good in the black community, but a lot of the black community is dilapidated. You see? You're going to be cursed in the city. Even the cities where you live at right now, you're going to be cursed. And you're going to be cursed in the fields. That is a piece of land intentionally prepared and used for growing crops. You see? Israel was like almost like an agricultural people. So now when you sit there and you're looking for, your crops to grow, your animal to produce, you're looking for all of this to happen. Nah. The Creator said when you don't listen, you're giving the power to your enemy, verbally and on paper. So let's look at Ezekiel 32:4. Ezekiel 32:4. You will be cursing your fields. You're not going to be in control of your neighborhoods. You're not going to be in control of that. So if you're not going to be in control of your neighborhoods, what makes you think you're going to be in control of how you produce? The land that you can produce on. What makes you think you're going to be in control of that? Then when I leave thee upon the land, Ezekiel 32:4. Then will I leave thee upon the land. I will cast thee forth upon the open field, and will cause all the fowls of the heavens to remain upon thee. And I will fill the beasts of the whole earth with thee. you're not going to be able to grow too much. See, remember Malachi, he says, prove my works, that I will not rebuke the cankerworms and anything that's going to devour your crops. Creator's telling you he's not going to do that when you go against his word. It's not going to protect you, the things that you're trying to live on. You're not going to have the protection of the Creator. You're not. You're not going to have it. See? Let me go back and read verse 3. Thus says the Creator, your power. I will therefore spread out my net over thee with a company of many people. And they shall bring thee up in my net. They shall bring you up in my net. And I will leave thee upon the land. I'm going to leave you upon the land. And I will cast thee forth upon the what? Open field. See, you're going to be cursed in the field. You're going to be looking to prosper, and the field is not going to produce for you. You're going to be cast upon the open fields, and I will cause all the fowls of heaven to remain upon you. How do you plant, family? How do you live? The fowls, not just the birds, but it's the bugs. How do you do? How do you plan and live, and how do you harvest? Hosea 2. How do you harvest? Hosea 2:1. That's not right. Go down. Let me see about verse 18. I think I done messed up again on this one. Yeah, verse 18. I don't know why this came up. Hosea 2:18. And in that day I will make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven and with the what? Creeping things of the ground. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth. And I will make them to lie down safely. In other words, I'm showing you that the Creator is in control of the fields. Whatever the Creator allow in the field, that's what's going to take place. But if he's telling you that you are cursed in the fields, how do you live? How do you plant, family? How do you allow anything to grow for you? How do you build now? Because the open field is your territory. That's where you live. How do you build now? What do you build on? You're cursed. Other people is going to start to trickle onto your land. They're going to build in your open fields, whereas that you don't hardly have nothing to plant no more. You don't have open areas to plant no more. And all because you're cursed. Joel 1:10. All because you chose not to listen to the Creator. How do you plant? And if you can't plant, how do you live? Now you have to depend on people. The fields is waste. The fields is waste. The land mourneth. For the corn is what? Wasted. The new wine is dried. The oil languished. The land, the field is waste because it's cursed. Obadiah 1:19. Just throwing out a couple of examples to show you. Obadiah 1:19. And they of the south possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain, the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim. See? And the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead. The fields is your territory. Your territory is going to be cursed when you don't follow the Creator's laws. One more, Micah 1:6. You will no longer be in control of your territory. If you're not in control of it, then who's going to be in control of it? Therefore, Micah 1:6, therefore, I will make Samaria as an heap. See? Territory. Whose territory is Samaria? The 10 tribes. He's going to make the territories as a heap of the field. And as planting of a vineyard, I will pour down the stones thereof into the valley, and I will discover the foundations thereof. So, family, I'm trying to realize that when you go against the word of the Creator, your territory that you are in is either going to be what? Lost, destroyed, or conquered. It's going to be lost, destroyed, or conquered. That's what it's going to be. Lost, destroyed, or conquered. The link is in the chat if anybody wants to come up and have a conversation with me. When you go against the Creator's laws, you're not going to just be cursed in the cities that you live in, but your open fields, your territories that you were given is going to be lost, conquered, or destroyed. Because you gave the enemies the right to open their mouth against you and to write laws against you. You gave them the power. That's what the curse is about. You gave them the power. You can blame the white man all you wanted, but you gave him the power. Your territory is going to either be conquered, destroyed, or lost. You're not going to be able to find it no more. Okay? Psalms 85 and 55. Psalms 85 and 55. No, did I write that right? I know I did write that right. Y'all give me a minute. Hold on. It might be a 15. There ain't no 15 on that. I got to come back to that one. I don't know where this comes from. Let's go to 2 Kings 17 through 23. 2 Kings. I'm going to come back to that. Psalms 85. I got to look at that real quick. 2 Kings 17 through 23. Your land will be either lost, conquered, or destroyed. And it says, and they caused their sons and daughters to pass through the fire and use divination, enchantment, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Creator to provoke him to anger. So they're doing everything backwards. They're doing things deliberately against the Creator that they know that the Creator do not like. Things that is not natural. They're doing it. They're doing these things. So verse 18 says, therefore the Creator was very angry with Israel and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. So he removed the 10 tribes. He moved them out of the way. Okay. And the only people that was left in the land was Judah, the southern kingdom. Okay. Either you can say Judah, the tribe of Judah, or the southern kingdom. Now, verse 19. Also, Judah kept not the commandments of the Creator, their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made. See, they walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made. They ain't got nothing to do with the Creator. See, let me read it again. Let's read it again. Also, Judah kept not the commandments of the Creator, their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made. You see that? We got a whole bunch of people making up their own thing. See? You see? This is why you lost your land. You coming up with your own thing instead of doing what the law said. You coming up with your own thing. You talking about a new kingdom. There is no, there's not going to be a new kingdom. You're going to return back to your land. And the heathens that destroyed it is going to build it back. But y'all come with y'all new thing. Let me read it again. And also, Judah kept not the commandments of the Creator. So if Judah didn't keep the commandments of the Creator, then tell me, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made. So tell me, what is the statutes that Israel made? Because Israel made statutes that had nothing to do with the Creator's laws. You got to do this. You got to do that. You have to say this. You got to say that. Those are things that's not even in the commands. Verse 20. And the Creator rejected all the seed of Israel. He rejected all the seed of Israel and afflicted them and delivered them into the what? Hands of what? Spoils. They went into captivity. They lost their land. They lost the field. They are cursed in the field. They are no longer over their territories. Spoils came and got them. Until he had what? Cast them out of his sight. They lost their land, family. Their land was conquered and they lost. Their land was lost, conquered, and it was destroyed. Other nations are now enjoying their land. 21. For he rest Israel from the house of David. He rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Lord or the Creator and made them sin a great sin. You see? They grieved, they created a great sin. 22. And the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them. They knew it was wrong, but they chose to continue to follow their sins. Just like some of you out there, you know it's wrong to have another God, but you are choosing to continue with that other God. Even when it says don't even allow another name of another God depart from your mouth, you still give credence to somebody else whom they call yahusha, Jesus, yahusha. You still give credence to that. And you wonder why you're cursing the field. You wonder why you don't have territory. You say, oh, no, I got land. Well, let me ask you a question. When Israel went home, how did Israel have to pay property taxes? Because even if you got land, you still got to pay property tax to the foreigner. The foreigner's on your land, and he's making you pay property taxes to him. Did Israel have to pay property taxes to the Canaanites? Huh? How about sales taxes? How about school taxes? Huh? Did Israel have to do that when they went home? How about did they have to get permits from the Canaanites or anybody else that was around the land to be able to operate a business? But you ain't cursed. Then if your taxes don't match up, they're going to throw you in jail. Did Israel have to pay taxes? Huh? I mean, because maybe I'm lost. Maybe you know something I don't know. They committed a great sin. And verse 22, and the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them. 23, until the Creator removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants, the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own lands. Conquered, destroyed, and lost. They was carried away out of their own lands to where? Assyria until this day. Judah went into Babylon, conquered, destroyed, and lost their territories. You think cursing the city stopped. All your territories was either occupied by foreigners with you in it, own it, or you just lost your territories and you're no longer accepted back there. Cursing the fields. And we wonder why we have to play politics with foreigners just to be able to keep a piece of a crumb. Because you're cursed. You choose not to listen to the Creator. Now you have to pay the piper for your disobedience. Verse 17. In Deuteronomy 28. Verse 17. It says, curse shall be thy basket and thy store. Now, if you look at your basket, that is something that holds something for you. Some of y'all basket is yahusha. I had to throw that out there. But a basket is something that holds something for you. Okay? That basket is going to be cursed. Let's go to Haggai 1:6. The basket is going to be cursed, family. Things that you normally put stuff in, it's not going to have the option to hold it no more. Haggai 1:6. Let me start at verse 5. Now, therefore, thus says the Creator of hosts, consider your ways. So he's telling Israel, consider your ways. Because Israel been out there and doing things that goes against the very nature of themselves. They were making covenants with nations and etc. So verse 6 says, you have so much and bring in little. You see? You have so much, but you bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. It's not saying that you're not getting full. It's just that your body's not meeting the, you know what I'm saying? It's like the food it don't have nothing in it no more. Because you're dealing with what? GMO. You bring in much. You so much, but you bring in little. You work all day, but your paycheck don't match your energy effort at that job. You eat, but the food don't have enough to hold. I remember when I was coming up, we used to have that food sit in your stomach, and it sit in your stomach for the whole day. That thick food. Now they done got restaurants all over the place. But ye are not filled with drinks. You drink, but you're not filled with drink. You're constantly thirsty. You clothe you clothe you, but there's none warm. Meaning, guess what? Your clothes don't even fit the season no more. Because look how they're making the clothes now. Tell me, hell, what skinny jeans can stop? They can't stop the cold. Skinny jeans? Skinny jeans can't stop the cold. But we wear stuff, we wear the clothes that has no real fabric to it no more. And he that earneth wages to put it in a bag with holes. You got an ass of bills. See how that work? It's being cursed, family. It's being cursed. You got an ass of bills. Every time you turn around, you got to pay a bill, 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 pay a bill. And you looking, you ain't got nothing. Because they made you become a consumer. That's what it means by that. You became a consumer. And consumerism has you doing what, family? Spending. And now when you're looking for your money, you ain't got none. See how that work? Micah 6:14. You don't have none, family. Micah the 6th chapter, verse 14. Let me start at verse 13. Therefore, I will make thee sick in smiting thee, in making thee desolate because of your sins. The Creator say he's going to smite you and make you what? He's going to make you sick because of your sins. 14, thou shalt eat, but not be satisfied. And thou casting down shall be in the midst of thee. Everybody going to see your embarrassment. When you get cast down, it's not going to be hitting. Everybody's going to see you being cast down, family. You're going to eat, but you're not going to be satisfied. When the Creator puts you down, everybody's going to see it. You're going to be an open shame. And thou shalt take hold, but shall not deliver. You're going to be able to do things, but you're not going to be able to have the opportunity to bring forth that thing. You're going to take hold to ideas. You're going to take hold to this and that, but you're not going to be able to bring forth. And that which thou delivereth will I give up to the sword. So you're not going to have peace, family. You're not going to have peace. You're not going to be able to hold nothing. When you bring it in, it's going to automatically leave you. You're going to be working all day, and you're going to see that your paycheck ain't added up. Curse thou basket. Leviticus 26 and 20. Curse shall thy basket. Leviticus 26 and 20. I want to see how a savior can stop this. I'm going to start at verse 18. And if you will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. Read again. If you will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. Verse 19, and I will break the pride of your power. The Creator's telling Israel he's going to break the pride of his power. And I will make your heaven as iron and your earth as brass. And your strength shall be spent in vain. Your strength shall be spent in vain. See, your strength, family, your strength is gonna be what? Spent in vain. You're gonna be doing a lot of things, but it's not gonna add up. For your land shall not yield her increase. See? You're going to do a lot of things, but it's not going to add up. Curse is thy basket. Neither shall the trees of the land yield their fruit. Curse shall thy be in thy basket. You're not going to have enough. What you expect to hold, you ain't going to have. Isaiah 5 and 10. What you expect to hold, you're not going to have. Because you choose to allow the other people to tell your story through the pen and through their mouth. You choosing that. We give them power over us. And when we give them power over us, we thinking that they're supposed to be fair. Why should they be fair? You the one that messed up, not them. Isaiah 5 and 10. It says, yea, 10 acres of vineyard shall yield 1 bath. And the seed of the what? Homer shall yield an ephod. You're not going to have enough to hold. You ain't going to need a basket no more. Stay in Isaiah and go to chapter 55. You're not going to need a basket no more. Because the other nation is going to make sure you don't have. Isaiah 55 and 2. They're going to make sure you don't have. But we think, oh no, see, this and no. They're just going to make sure. And then when they make sure that you have, they're going to make sure that, guess what? It's not natural. It's not natural, family. Isaiah 55, let me start at verse 1. Ho, everyone that's thirsty, come ye to the waters. And he that has the money, no money, come ye buy and eat. Ye come buy wine and milk without money and without price. Verse 2. Wherefore do you spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfy not? He's asking a question. Do you spend your money for that which is not bread? And do you put your labor on that which satisfies not? We keep doing things that has no pleasure. And we're looking for results to come from it. He said, hearken diligently unto me and eat ye that which is good. And let your soul delight itself in what? Fatness. Incline your ear and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. You see? It's all about listening. But because we don't listen, we don't realize this is what's causing our curse. We're giving other people the opportunity to speak and write for us. Jeremiah 12 and 13. We're cursing ourselves. All throughout this Bible, it teaches when you are cursed, you're not going to have enough. And we say, oh, well, see, I got enough, but it's not just about you. Because if you have enough, then you should employ your neighbor. Because now he's poor. You see? See how that works? Jeremiah 12 and 13. I'm going to start at verse 12. The spoilers are come upon all high places through the wilderness, for the sword of the Creator shall devour from what? One end of the land, even to the other end of the land. No flesh shall have peace. Because the other nations is the Creator's sword. But you mad at them. But you're not mad because you continue to break the curse along with our forefathers who broke the curse. You ain't mad at that, but you're mad at the other nations for being the sword of the Creator. Bringing retribution against you for the Creator. You mad at that. Verse 13. They have what? Sown wheat, but shall reap thorns. You see? They have put themselves to pain, but shall no profit. And they shall be ashamed of what? Your revenues, because of their fierce anger of the Creator. You're not going to be satisfied. It was never meant for you to struggle. Your struggling creates the Creator's anger against you. That's what it's showing. And instead of us repenting, we continue. We glorify the pain, the suffering. And this is the problem. Amos, the 4th chapter, verse 6 through 9. Amos 4, 6 through 9. You're not going to have enough, family. You're not going to have enough. And it's like some of us that got comfortable struggling. We done got comfortable working our backs out. Our feet, our legs, our eyes, our fingers. We done got used to that. We working ourselves to death for other people. And at the end of the day, you still don't have enough. Because that's your curse. It's part of your hell. Amos, the 4th chapter, verse 6. Let me start at verse 5. And offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving with leaven, and proclaim and publish the free offerings. For this liketh you, O children of Israel, says the Creator. Verse 6. And I also have given you cleanness of teeth in your cities. Huh? He giving you cleanliness of teeth in all your cities, and want of bread in all your places. You yet have ye not returned unto me, says the Creator. He gave you white mouth, teeth, and he gave you bread, and you still ain't satisfied. You still don't repent. He gave you mercy, and you still don't repent. Verse 7, and also I will what? I will withholding the rain from you when there were yet 3 months to the harvest. Creator said, I'm gonna withhold it from you. And I cause it to rain upon one city and cause it not to rain upon another. Y'all know that rain, when it rained over here, like on the street, it can rain on the street next to you, but your street ain't getting no rain. I don't know if y'all ever witnessed that, but I sure witnessed that. It could be raining up the street, but the moment you looking at, oh, it's raining up there, but it ain't raining where you at. See, the Creator said he's spreading out his rain. He's not letting it just rain all over the land no more. Nah, because all of y'all don't deserve the rain. One piece was rained upon, and the piece whereupon it rained not withered. So 2 or 3 cities wandered unto one city. You know why? Because the 2 or 3 cities were dry. They had to go where the water was to drink water. but they were not satisfied. Because your basket can't, you don't have enough in your basket got a hole in it. It got a hole in it. Yet have ye not returned unto me, says the Creator. You still didn't return. In verse 9, I have smitten you with blasting and mildew, when your gardens and your vineyards and your fig trees and your olive trees increase, and your and the palmer worms devour them, yet have you not returned unto me, says the Creator. You still don't get it. You done got comfortable in the struggle. Like the sister told me. She told me on the conversation, we glorify. Sister Latoya, she said, we glorify the struggle. The rappers done start rapping about the struggle and done got you satisfied in your struggle. Whereas that you don't seem to repent. You done got hard in your unrepentant stage. And you don't get it. Brother Shava say we definitely glorify our struggles and wear it's like a badge of honor. That's true. We wear these struggles like a badge of honor. Like Sister Latoya said, we glorify these things in our songs. Keep your head up. Those songs bring curses. And we dance to them. We dance towards our curse. We dance into our curses. Those are some of our favorite songs that glorify the struggles and the pains that we're going through as a people. It don't bring repentance. It brings a hardness. Think about it while I take me a drink. But you don't believe it. You don't believe it. You don't believe it. Ecclesiastes 5 and 10. Curse is your basket. Your basket is cursed. You're not going to hold nothing in it. Ecclesiastes 5 and 10. Like Brother Shava say, we wear our struggles like a badge of honor. And that's sad. Let me read verse 9. That's Ecclesiastes 5, 9 and 10. Moreover, the profit of the earth is for all. The profit of the earth is for all. Let's not get past that. Everybody's supposed to profit from the earth in your territories. The king himself is served by the field. You see, that field is his territory. He's served by his territory. See, when he go outside of his territory, he's conquering something. Or he's bartering and trading. But if he's not doing either, his own territory feeds him. You see how that go? Verse 10. He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loveth abundance with increase, that is also vanity. Because your curse is designed for you not to be satisfied. But you don't get it. You don't get it. Because we chase after vanity. And as we think we're getting it, your basket got a hole in it. Your pocket got a hole in it. You're not satisfied once you get it. Because you're operating under the curse. Sister Latoya say facts, NWA, niggas with attitudes. And think about it. Think about the title of the group, niggas with attitudes. Do you think that's pleasing? No, you're acting tough. You're acting rough. I'm coming from the streets. I come from the corner. I told y'all, I don't come from the streets. I come from off the sidewalk that was next to the streets. I'm from the sidewalks. See, a lot of you say I'm from the streets. No, I ain't from those streets. I'm from the sidewalk. See how that go? Give me 1 second. I'm from the sidewalks, family. I'm from the sidewalk. See, a lot of you like to be off the streets. I'll let y'all have that one. But you ain't going to have enough. See, your basket is cursed. Your basket is cursed, family. And then in Deuteronomy, the other party says curse is what? Your basket. Give me 1 second. And curse is thy store. Curse is your store. And family, that store, remember Israel was told to have a storehouse. Why? Because it helps out the ones that did not have. What do the storehouse symbolize? It symbolizes daily substance and provisions, meaning that you have the abundance now. You have the abundance. You see? You have the abundance, family. That's what the storehouse is for. But it's going to be curse is your store. Curse is the store. Let's go to Exodus 8:3. Exodus 8:3. Lay down. I got you. Exodus 8:3. And if the river shall go back, excuse me, Salaki, and if the river shall bring forth frogs abundantly, which shall go up and come into the thy house, and into thy bedchamber, and upon thy bed, and into the house of thy servant, and upon thy people, and into thy ovens, and into thy what? Kneading, the netting trough. The netting trough is where Israel had put their bread and stuff at, where they had abundance. Oops, my bad. Okay. That's where Israel had. Really? That's where Israel had more of abundance. Had more of abundance. Okay. And this is what Israel didn't have that no more once their land was taken. You don't have the overflow to be able to help people. Okay. It was a requirement for you to help the people. It was a requirement. You see what I'm saying? Let's go to Exodus 23 and 11. You don't have that abundance no more. You don't. And now you're gonna, the ones you was told to help, you can't help no more. You just as need as them. Now, what good is you as a people? But the seventh year thou shalt what? Let it rest, the land, let it rest. Lie still. And the poor and the people may what? Eat. It's your job to feed them. But because you are out of order, you can't even feed yourself now. You can't even feed yourself. You have to wait for somebody to now bring food to you. When it was supposed to be the other way around, family. And what they leave, the beast of the field shall eat. See, you were supposed to make sure they ate too. See, what the poor and the needy left, the beast came and ate. You see how blessed you're supposed to be, family? You're supposed to have enough for even the beast of the fields. It was so much that the poor and the needy couldn't take it. They had to leave some behind, and the beast came and just got the rest. But some of y'all done got so tight, y'all don't even, a bird come and look at you, and you look at the bird like, I ain't got nothing for you. Because the bird know you're supposed to feed him. But you ain't, you ain't got nothing for the bird. You trying to eat yourself. Oh my goodness. It's funny, man. You trying to eat yourself. In like manner, thou shalt deal with the what? Vineyards and the olive trees. See, you're supposed to be able to help. Your job is to make sure everything around you is balanced. But your store is cursed. You can't even help people. Exodus 22 and 22. Let's finish cooking, family. You can't even help people. But you're sitting there. But you're sitting there and you can't help no one. And that's the sad part. Exodus 22 and 20. I'm going to start at 21. Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. See, you got to pay attention. You were there at one time. So now how are you going to treat them who's now in that position like you were? Dirty. You can't do that. You can't do that. Because you were there. You can't forget once upon a time you were there. But watch this. Egypt fed you. They put you on the beautiful part of the land, Goshen. So now the Creator put you back into the beautiful part of the land of Canaan, the land of milk and honey. And your job was to be like the Egyptians was to you. You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. You got to make sure they have. But your store is cursed now. So you put them in even a worse position. You did, Israel. You put the fatherless, the widows, the strangers, you put them in a bad position, a worse position, because you desire to do something else other than what you was required to do. And you put people in a bad position. You did that. You didn't have to sin, but you did. And your sin is a ripple effect that affects others. But you blame the white man. But the white man didn't cause you to sin. You sinned because you chose to sin. Verse 23, and if you afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry. And my wrath shall what? Wax hot. Nah, the Creator gonna be easy on you, right? Because you Israel, right? Because you Judah, right? Because you Ephraim, right? Huh? You Naphtali. You the Haitians, the Levites, right? The Creator gonna be easy on you, correct? That's what it just said, right? No, it says the Creator's gonna wax hot when when your storehouse can't fulfill and it afflicts. The Creator's gonna punish you. And I will kill you with the sword. And your wives shall be widows. And your children fatherless. You're going to feel, you're going to be in the position of them now. Oh, y'all thought this is just, a curse, right? Oh, I just ain't gonna have. No. You're going to now feel what they are feeling. You're going to deal with what they're dealing with now. But let that sink for a minute. Let that sink for a minute. The Creator gonna put you in the same position as who you supposed to help. Now you can't help because you chose to do something. You're now going to end up doing what you're going to be in a position of them now. You see? You're going to be in that position, that family. Leviticus 19:10. This is your hell. If you haven't seen part 1, I advise you to go back and see part 1 and part 2, because part 1 is your salvation. Part 2 is your hell and your destruction, Israel, as we are in part 3 today. Leviticus 19:10. It's your job to look out for the widows. That was a promise. That was a covenant that you made with the Creator. But now your storehouse is cursed. Your basket can't hold water. But you got the rights to criticize other nations, but you haven't yet repented. Leviticus 19:10. I'm going to start at verse 9. And when you reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of the field, neither shall thou gather the gleaning of the harvest. And thou shalt not glean thy harvest, thy vineyard, neither shall thou gather every grape of thy vineyard. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger. I am the Creator, your power. See, your job is to help them out. It's not just for you, family. Being Israel ain't just for Israel, it's for the people who are less than. But your storehouse is cursed. Leviticus 23 and 22. Stay in Leviticus 23 and 22. Your storehouse is cursed. So how do you help out the poor and the needy, the fatherless and the widows and the orphans? How do you look out for them? How do you do it? We'll start at verse 21. And you shall proclaim on the selfsame day that I may be in holy convocation unto you. You shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a what? Statute forever in your dwelling throughout your generations. 22. And when you reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt make a what? A clean riddance of the corners of thy field when thou reapest. Neither shall thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor and to the strangers. I am the Creator, your power. It's part of the law. You have to make sure you leave something for those who are less fortunate than you. But your storehouse and your land is cursed. So how do you look out for these people? How do you do it, family? Deuteronomy 15:4, 7, and 11. Deuteronomy 15:4, 7, and 11. It's Deuteronomy 15:4, 7, and 11. Let's cook. Let me start at verse 3. Of a stranger, of a foreigner, thou mayest exact it again. But that which is thine with thy brother, thy hand shall what? Release. In other words, a stranger, you can enslave him again. But your brother, you got to release him. 4, save when there shall be no poor among you, for the Creator shall greatly bless thee in the land which the Creator, thy power, giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it. Nobody should be poor among you, Israel. Not even you. You should not even be poor. But when your land is cursed and your storehouse is cursed, you can't even bless yourself. So that makes you poor. Let's jump down to verse 7. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within your gates, in your land, which the Creator your power giveth thee, thou shalt what? Not harden your heart, nor shut thy hand from thy poor brethren. You got to help him. It's not your job to be nasty, to be angry, to be upset, or to ignore your brethren. You got to help him. You see how that work? See, that's why the Creator bless you to be on top, to help those at the bottom. It's not just for you to look all sporty fly and all this and all that, saying, oh, yeah, we got this. No, it's for you to help. Verse 11. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. You're going to always be in the motion of helping somebody. When did it says you to stop? Somebody's going to always need your help. Therefore, I command thee. It's your job to help the poor. Saying, thou shalt open your hand wide unto your brother, to thy poor, and to the needy in your land. But your land was taken. Your storehouse is cursed. Your pockets got holes in it. So you already in the law. You already breaking the law for not being able to help the poor. Proverbs 2 and 7. He that lay up sound wisdom for the righteous, he is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. If you give sound wisdom to the righteous, the Creator become your buckler. He connects you to them that walk uprightly. You see? And even if we are in captivity, guess what, family? We should be able to still help the poor. You say, oh, well, I don't know about that. Well, let's look at the story of Tobit. Tobit had in the captivity, he was from the tribe of Naphtali. And even in the land of Samaria, he was rich. But when he went into captivity of Assyria, he was working for the government. And the thing was, he opened his door for those that were less fortunate of Israel in captivity. And the reason why we can't do it, because you're under that curse. You're under that curse. You're under that curse. You're under that curse, family. That's why we can't do it. I won't be able to do it. Can you do what? I won't be able to do it. You see? We're under that curse. We'll sit right there and watch somebody perish. And the first thing we'll think about is something bad. But see, that was their judgment. Well, hell, you under judgment. You under judgment. But we'll watch our own brothers and sisters struggle. If we have, we'll just watch them struggle. Deuteronomy 28:18. Curse shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Curse shall be the fruit of thy body. Y'all need to get the book called Medical Apartheid. If you haven't gotten that book, you need to get that book. It's called Medical Apartheid. Let me pull that up real fast for you. Let me pull that up. Medical Apartheid. Medical Apartheid. Grab the book, because this book is about you. Let me pull the image up. I just want the image to show it to you so you can see this, the sister who wrote the book. Grab the book, family. This is a good read. Medical Apartheid. This is a good read. This is a good read. Medical Apartheid. This is the sister right here. This is a good read right here. That's the sister. And this is the book. You see? So grab the book. This is a very good read, family. I promise y'all that. It's going to show y'all all the stuff that they've been doing. And some of the stuff they're still doing today. Harriet A. Washington. It's a very good read. Just wanted to show you that. You see, curses the fruit of thy body. The body is cursed. The body is cursed, family. Number one, black women are more likely to die in childbirth than white women. You see? Number two, some studies indicate higher rates of ADHD diagnosis among black children compared to white children and Hispanic children. They diagnose our children more with ADHD, and our black sisters die in childbirth than any other sisters, any other women across this plane, in this plane. Why is that? Number three, statistics shows that the United States Black Americans are incarcerated at a significant higher rate than other racial groups. Why is that? Because those are our children in these prisons. The fruit of your body is going to be cursed. Not just a female birthing and dying, not just our children being diagnosed with ADHD, but our men are going to prison. Those are our sons. Number 4, based on information provided, there are substantial evidence suggested that Black people in America, so-called Black people in America, experience a disproportionately higher rate of preventable adverse medical events, which can lead to higher rates of harm and mortality compared to other racial groups. Why is that? Because we have a healthcare disparity. The fruit of your body will be cursed. And we think it's a joke. We think it's a joke, family. The fruit of your body will be cursed. Because of medical disparities. They know who you are. They know you gave them the power to write and to speak. You gave it to them. But you would say, "No, I didn't do that. These people are just wicked. They just came." No. When Balaam tried to, I think Balaam or Baal tried to curse Israel, they couldn't curse him. So how they couldn't curse him when it was following the Creator in the wilderness? But now people can curse you now. Something ain't adding up. They couldn't curse Israel in the wilderness, but now they can curse you now. What am I missing? What am I missing? Tell me, what am I missing? Verse 20. I'm gonna kind of touch on verse 20, but I'm gonna pick back up on verse 20 in the Creator's will next week. Part 4. Israel curse. Israel's hell. Verse 20, Deuteronomy 28 and 20. The Creator shall send upon thee cursings, vexations, and rebukes in all that thou what settest thy hands unto for to do, unto thou be destroyed, and unto thou perish quickly, because the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast what forsaken me. And we read that already. You forsook the Creator. Cursings. A wish for evil to befall on someone or profane or obscured, words used to express anger or frustration, or even a cause of great suffering. The Bible says the Creator shall send upon thee cursings. What is those cursings? Someone wish evil to befall on you. Profane or obscure words used to express anger, frustration, or even cause of great suffering. He said he's going to allow these words to come upon you. Now, the first thing we think about is, well, see, all the nations, they call us bywords and proverbs, but no, stop. What about the words we call ourselves? We call each other. We already know the nation's going to do it because we gave them power to do it. Huh? Let me show you what I'm talking about. Give me a second. Let's go to Psalms 55 and 21. Psalms 55 and 21. This is David. What David was saying. See, we blame everybody for them doing things to us, but what are we doing to each other? Psalms 55 and 20. I'm going to start at verse 10. I'm going to start at verse 15 and I'm going to read down to 21. Psalms 55 and 21. I'm going to start at verse 15. I'm going to start at verse 10. I'm going to read down to verse 21. Day and night they go about it. Upon the walls thereof, mischief also and sorrows are in the midst of it. Wickedness is in the midst thereof. Deceit and guile depart not from her streets. Verse 12. For it was not an enemy that reproached me, that I could have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me, that did magnify himself against me. Then I would have hid myself from him. But it was thou, a man, my equal, my guide, and my acquaintance. We took sweet counsel together and walked unto the house of the Creator in company. It was somebody like him. It was an Israelite. You see? It was an Israelite. Let death seize upon them, and let them go down quick into hell. For wickedness is in their dwellings and among them. As for me, I will call upon the Creator, and the Creator shall save me. Right? Evening, morning, at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. 13. He that dwelleth my soul, he that delivereth my soul in peace from the battles that was against me. For there were many with me. 19. The Creator shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old, Selah, because they have no changes thereof. They fear not the Creator. Verse 20. He that has put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him, he has broken his covenant. Verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but the war was in his heart. His words were softer, softer than oil, yet they were yet were they drawn swords. Cast out burdens upon the Creator, and he shall sustain thee. He shall what? Never suffer the righteous to be moved. The thing is, well, I read that because I wanted to show you David was telling you his enemy was an Israelite. He had more problems with Israel than he had with foreigners. He had more problems with Israel than he have with foreigners. So family, I'm going to hold it right there. We're going to pick it back up on next week. Israel's curse. Let me put back up the brother. Young Noble. Rest in peace to the brother. Rest in peace to the family. I appreciate each one of you joining.
A little something extra in our.
Appreciate each one of you joining.
What up, guys? DJ Y is back again with very sad news. Today we lost
Shalom.
legendary Outlaws member Young Noble. Rest in peace, Young Noble. I want to send my deep condolences to his family and friends. Guys, as you see, the whole hip-hop industry is mourning the loss of legendary Young Noble, man. This is really another big tragedy for the hip-hop and for the community, man. So guys, in today's episode I want to show you the latest post of legendary rapper. Checks out on the screen.
Yeah, Young Noble checking in. It's God's plan, baby. I mean, gonna keep this thing moving. Rest in peace, neighborhood nip. Let me talk to y'all for a second. Yeah, the game down, nigga, whole shit spiral. They don't want money, they just wanna go viral. Searching for fame, niggas want they 2 minutes. I'm trying to get out the game, these niggas just getting in it. With no direction, your life confused. These niggas do anything for some likes and views. God forbid you slipping and they pop you on a corner. You laying there dying, they standing there recording. Probably could have saved your life. Had to get that footage, they had your death on YouTube tonight. It's a lost generation. We tried to awake them back on a plantation.
What up, it's Mr. X to the Z Exhibit YTB. Let's keep it going.
Hello.